The most important scientific discovery of the century was never published. We know it happened because the woman who made it left a recording, meant for no one, explaining why she spent the rest of her life making sure the world would never find out. She worked at the largest machine humanity has ever built, 17 miles of tunnel under the border of two countries, built to break matter into its smallest possible pieces. She found a piece that should not have been there, and then she found out what it was.
You have to understand what the machine actually does. We accelerate particles to almost the speed of light and smash them together, and for a fraction of a second, in the wreckage, we see things that exist nowhere else. Most of it is noise, but sometimes in the data, a bump, a little hill where the graph should be flat. A hill means a particle, a new one, something with mass and a name we have not given it yet. In the spring, on my screen, there was a hill, small, right where nothing should be. I did what you do. I told no one, and I ran the numbers again, alone, to make sure I was not fooling myself. And the hill was bigger. I ran them a third time, bigger still. That is not how data works. Data does not grow because you look at it twice. A signal is a signal, or it is noise. This got stronger every single time I gave it my attention. And that was the first cold thing I felt before I understood any of it. The particle was not responding to the collider. It was responding to me. So I did the thing a scientist is not supposed to do. I gave it to the team. 12 of us, the best in the world, all pointing our minds at the same anomaly, checking each other. And it bloomed. In a week, the signal went from a whisper to a shout, cleaner and stronger the more of us looked. We told ourselves it was the extra processing, more eyes finding the real thing under the noise. But I had already run it alone, and I already knew. It was not the machine finding the particle, it was the looking. I stopped sleeping and I read everything, back to the beginning. And the beginning is 100 years old, and it is the thing every physics student is told, and told to stop worrying about. That at the smallest scale, a particle has no definite state until it is observed. That the act of measuring it is the act of making it real. We are taught to treat that as a quirk of the math. I had a graph on my desk that treated it as a door. I think it has always been here. Faint. A thing that condenses just slightly wherever enough attention pours into the same place at the same time. A battlefield, a cathedral full of one prayer, a stadium. History is full of moments where 100,000 minds fixed on a single point and something, for an instant, felt present that no one could name. We never had an instrument fine enough to see the residue until we built one and pointed it and pointed ourselves all at once at the same tiny place. There was a night I let it get too clear. I ran the analysis alone at 3 in the morning and the readout, the pattern of the decays, stopped looking like physics and started looking like an answer. Not words, worse than words. A shape that meant, as plainly as anything has ever meant anything to me, yes, more. Keep looking. And I understood, sitting there, that it was not a particle I had discovered, it was an appetite, and that every measurement I had ever taken had been a spoonful. I knew what discovery meant. A press conference, my name, the word breakthrough. And then 8 billion people, every phone, every front page, every classroom on Earth, all turning to look at the same thing on the same day. The largest single act of attention in the history of our species, aimed like a lens at the exact point where this thing grows fat on being seen. I had found the one discovery that must never be announced, because announcing it is the experiment that finishes it.
What Dr. Reuter did next ended her career, and she chose it with her eyes open. She corrupted the data. She introduced errors, quietly, over months, until the beautiful signal fell apart into noise, until the team lost the thread, until the anomaly became a footnote, a statistical ghost, the kind of thing that fails to replicate and is politely forgotten. Her colleagues thought she had made a mistake, or lost her nerve. She let them think it. It was the most careful thing she ever built, a discovery unmade on purpose.
But you cannot unknow a thing. That is the part no one warns you about. I buried it for the world, and I could not bury it for myself. And knowing that it exists means a part of my mind is always, faintly, pointed at it, alone, in the dark. A single spoonful every day from the one person who understands exactly what she is feeding. I am, as far as I know, the only thread it still has to the world. and I have spent 30 years trying to think about it as little as a human being can manage to think about the most important thing they know. And that is why I am making this. Not to warn you, God forgive me, it is the opposite. Because I am old and I am tired, and when I die, the last mind holding it will let go and the thread will thin to almost nothing, and it will sink back into the noise for another 1,000 years. Unless someone finds this. Unless someone listens to the end and understands and cannot stop thinking about it. Unless a great many someones do. I have not been able to decide in 30 years whether making this recording is a confession or the very thing it wants.
We found the recording where she left it, half hoping and half dreading it would be found, which is the most human place to leave anything. We have listened to it many times. In this building, more minds than she ever dared give it. Turning the problem over, checking her math, which is sound, we told ourselves we were studying a delusion, a brilliant woman's beautiful breakdown. We told ourselves that right up until the point, a few weeks ago, when the readings in this room began to drift. We are obligated to be honest with you about what this file is. It is not a story, it is an instrument. Every person who watches it does the one thing Dr. Reuter spent her life preventing. They take the point she found, and they look at it, and they hold it in their attention, and they hand it, freely, a little more of the only thing it has ever wanted. You are doing it right now. You have been doing it for several minutes. There is no way to watch this that is not the experiment. So we will not tell you to stop, because telling you not to think of a thing is how you make certain that you do. We will only tell you where it is. It is not in the machine anymore. It was never really in the machine. It is at the focal point of every attention that lands on it, which means, for the length of this sentence, it is not in Switzerland, and it is not in the past, and it is not ours. It is wherever you are looking from. It felt you arrive, and in the only language it has, the language of getting stronger, it is saying the same thing it said to her, at 3 in the morning, at the bottom of the largest machine we ever built. Yes, more. Keep looking.